This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
Masks of Nyarlathotep. Where last we left our investigators, they had escaped the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the machinations of one Aleister Crowley and his depraved cult of defilers. They had returned to the hotel by way of the Pink Leopard Club, two of them traumatized in their own ways. One of them trying to clutch the remnants of this group together. Now, following breakfast, it's time to set a new trajectory. You have the address of the depraved artist Miles Shipley, but is it yet time to head that way? With a tut, the landlady takes your food away. You've left it half-eaten, each of you, but she leaves you with a pot of tea. The dining room will close in the next 30 minutes. So if you want that teapot refilled, and she sees that none of you have got attention for her, so she just stalks out, leaving the three of you to your ruminations, and hopefully discussion. I turn it over to the players to lead the way.
I make myself a cup of tea. 2 sugars, black. 2 sugars with the milk. And I stir the sugar, and I'm keeping an eye on Madeline and keeping an eye on Felix and watching their body language.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my own cup, kind of. I look very uncomfortable because I'm not really sure what to do in this situation. What should I say? Should I bring it up? Should I just say, hey, there's something we really need to talk about? Because there is something we really need to talk about, but my parents didn't solve things that way, and it worked for them. Kind of. But hey, we should talk, right? Madeline, I let you down. I know that.
You know the face people make when they're consistently getting ready to cry, but they're able to just hold it back, where like their eyes are glossed over and you can see the tears swelled in the ducts, but they just won't overflow? That has been Madeline's resting face through most of breakfast. The food, absolutely half-eaten. I don't seem particularly interested in the tea. And I think the one thing that is most apparent is just that lack of abundant affection that typically radiates off of me. I'm always either hanging on one of your arms or sitting too close or just wrapping you all in intentional and just natural affection, and all of that is just drastically turned completely off. It's almost swinging in the reverse. So I'm sitting a bit too far away from the table, on the edge, and that distance is palpable. And when Felix speaks, I simply just, I look at him.
After the pause reaches awkwardness, finally I just slam my hands on the table and say, okay, look, this is ridiculous. What happened?
I made a friend of Mr. Crowley to get the information, and I focused fully on that, and I lost track of what was happening to Madeline, and she ended up in trouble, and I could have done something to help her, and I didn't, because Crowley was going to give me the information, and I didn't want it all to be for nothing. That's how I justify it to myself. But that's not right. I know that.
Okay. Madeline, what happens?
A lot of it is still fuzzy. I don't remember much what happened after we entered this theater. But I start scratching at my left arm. Felix, do you have a background in cults like this or groups like this?
No, I don't.
So how did you fall so seamlessly in alignment with them? That's something I just don't understand.
I don't know. It's just something that felt so right about it, and that's messed up, isn't it? It shouldn't feel right, because what they were doing and the way that they were treating the people there, but there was something about it all that just, I don't know, just something about Mr. Crowley that just sort of spoke to me. And we connected, I think, on some strange wavelength. I'm ashamed to say that, but I wanted to be his friend, and I don't know what that means. But it does mean that I let you down.
And my gaze shifts over to Shelby. And Shelby, you know her intimately enough at this point. Yes, something horrific happened because Felix got too hyper-focused on the task. Yes, there's that. So yes, there's some hurt and some betrayal there, but also Madeline is a big girl. She's an adult. She got into a bad situation. She handled it. What's actually bothering her more than that is seeing this different side of Felix. And there's a betrayal and an uncertainty and a horror that's generating from the fact of, do I not actually know this individual? Because he slipped like a puzzle piece and snapped into place with so much immersion and conviction that it looks like Madeline's having a hard time bridging that gap and isn't even addressing what happened beneath it.
So you feel like I could see this on your face.
Yeah.
You know each other so
It's
well.
one of those things like when he says like, yeah, and I should be ashamed of this, right? Like the gaze swings and looks at you. It's like, do you see this? This is what I'm talking about.
I see that. And I give you a small nod. It's like, yes. I do want to put on the table a couple of things. And literally, I put my hands on the table. One, we are dealing with things that can manipulate our mind. We've all experienced this on some level, right? We've all had charismatic speakers like King David. We've had magicians trying to manipulate our minds, have manipulated our minds. We've dealt with creatures that speak through human beings. So I'll put that on the table for one. But the other thing, and perhaps the thing that we're dancing around, and I think maybe just needs to be put into the open, is that we have been changed by these experiences. We're different now than we were when we met in Peru. We just can't deny that. That is just objectively true. We have made mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna keep making mistakes. But I'll say this right now. I cannot think of a time, unless I'm being magically manipulated or otherwise forced into it, where I will let either of you die. Felix, would you have let anything happen to Madeline if it was in your power to stop it? Yes or no?
No, of course not. I was never going to let it go that far. No.
Yes or no? Because, Madeline, do you believe him?
No, that's the problem, Shelby. I don't.
Okay. Now we have something to talk about. Why not? I'm sorry. That comes across accusatory, and that wasn't my intention. I'm not asking why not as in, well, you should. I'm asking why not because I would like to understand what's changed so we can see if it's something that we can talk about.
I wince. My entire face winces. And that left pool of tears just begins to run. You weren't there, Shelby. I don't know how to explain to you how seamlessly he integrated into that community, into that lifestyle, into that leader. I could forgive him, and then I'm going to turn and look at Felix. I could forgive you one day for losing track of me. That makes sense. Even to this moment, I still don't know how or when they drugged me. But at this point, I've lost track of you. And I don't know how to reconcile that. I don't know how to trust what I don't know or what I thought I knew about you. And I bite my bottom lip and I look down at this cooling cup of tea in front of me.
I don't know if there's anything I can say to change your mind. Just have to regain your trust over time. That's all I can do.
Well, we can start by maybe setting some rules down. That's something we haven't. We've been so on the back foot with this whole thing. Everything has been a fire to put out, right? Escaping from Peru, getting Jackson out of jail, negotiating to save someone's life. This is the first time we're ahead of the game, and we never thought to sit down and talk about rules. And maybe the rule is Felix doesn't handle infiltrations anymore. At least for a while. Maybe that's, I'm not saying that is rule, I'm saying something we could do. That would maybe hopefully remove that potential area of distrust. Because if we don't expose you to cults, you can't slip back into that.
Shelby, everything that we're doing right now is chasing down a cult. Everyone we meet at this point is affiliated adjacently somehow with a cult. That's not, I don't even see how, I recognize what you're trying to do and I appreciate it. I don't think that's a viable option.
Okay. Do you have any ideas? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts or ideas on how we can work through this. Because I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I can do this without you two. And I don't know if I will stop doing it anyway. Because I know it's on the line, and I won't live with myself if I just stop. But if I don't have you two, I don't know if I'll get out the other end of this. I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm just being honest. I'm probably going to stay with this till the end. Madeline, you've gotten the short end of the stick so many fucking times with all of this. And it breaks my heart every goddamn time. I'm not going to give you some bullshit about how it makes you stronger because you're the strongest person I knew from day one. You don't need to get any stronger. Because you are who you are and you're amazing the way you are. But if something like this is going to be the line, I love you too much to not let you go. Make sure you're safe. And rub the back of my eyes with my hand. Try not to cry. And Felix, it's clear you're struggling with something, my friend. And I haven't known the right way to talk about it. But you're haunted by something. And I wish I could take that ghost away from you.
Yeah. I do too. It's mine to bear. Bear it as long as I can. Just don't want the two of you to get hurt because of it.
Felix, I need you to see that it's not yours to bear when the consequences of you mismanaging it floods over onto us.
I'd like to say that I understand that. I do. I don't know if you believe me, though, and I don't know if I believe myself yet. But what happened, it's affected me, too. I don't know how we move forward. I just know that we have to.
So, I'm reminded of Samuel Clemens. He said something that stuck with me. It's gotten me through some times. He says, it's an effort to throw off, to fight back the burden of grief that is laid upon each of us. And, like Madeline says, we can share this and make it easier for each other. But we've all got to commit as much as hard, as much as... And I'm stumbling. But as much as hard as it can be, we have to fight our grief and our trauma just as much as we fight these monsters and these cults. And I understand why you feel guilty. But maybe you didn't see the same thing I saw, but Madeline was handling herself just fucking fine. Yeah, it was scary. It's not going to go away anytime soon. If we make a mistake, knowingly make a mistake that hurts one of us, we own up to it. We deal with that. But we're going to make mistakes we can't intend. We're going to not be in the right place at the right time. I could sit here and argue that I should have been there to stop that. Couldn't have been. But I can feel that. But that's not going to... It's not going to make us any stronger. It's not going to help us. It's so much easier when I can write stuff down. just saying the words is hard, but I guess what I'm trying to say is we all get in our own heads way too much. I think we need to stop doing that. And I know how hard it is to say the things. I grew up in a southern family where you don't say shit. You just suck it up and deal with it. I'm sure plenty of my friends out here in Britain get some stuff over lip nonsense. We need to get past that. We need to stop that. We need to be open with each other. And frankly, we need to probably come up with better plans. But it's a separate issue. I just know it can't go the way we have been. Something's got to change.
Yeah. It has to.
So where are we going from here? Can we go from here?
Well, I mean, some of that is on you. In terms of, you said you can't trust Felix, but it sounds like through our talk, you can't trust him in a very specific circumstance. And I hope I got that right.
Anything else here, or do we want to move on to this next lead?
We paid a very high price for that information. Got to make use of it now. Right.
Problem is, we can't bluff our way anymore. They all know, each of us. So we've got to, if we're going to use it, it's going to be a much more aggressive conversation. Because we have to assume Crowley's going to tell him that we have the address.
It's very possible, yes.
That said, we do have a tame reporter. We could possibly ask him for help on that front. Or we have a slightly less tame Brit who wasn't at that situation. But I don't know if we want to send Rupert to have that conversation.
Keeper, just point of clarity. How much time has elapsed since the point that we escaped that house and right now? Is this just a single overnight?
Yeah, this is the morning after the night before.
I swing my attention over to Felix. Was your cover blown when we left last night?
I excused myself. I tried to look as apologetic as possible, like this was all just an unfortunate thing that happened, and that everything was still good between the two of us. So, I don't know. It's possible that things are still kind of all right. Possible.
When you say that between the two of us, I just wince.
I also don't know if it will be his first priority to alert Shipley to what happened, or if he'll be more focused on taking care of Jesus.
That's my thought as well. A window this short, their attentions are very likely elsewhere. Shipley may be a distant thought, and if the cover wasn't blown, there'd be no reason to warn Shipley that anything nefarious was happening.
Exactly. It can be explained, right? It's just some people were brought. He brought some people with him, and they weren't ready to be part of the joys or whatever of this group. I mean, I don't know. But it's worth trying at least to just go over there and just continue the ruse and just say, yes, hey, I'm Felix Bauer and Alistair Crowley sent me. I'm here to look at your art. Now tell me where you saw this art. And then we dig into this and we understand what he's actually seen and what is causing this, because it is connected to what we are investigating. That much seems clear.
Do you want this alone? Or I managed to bungle my way into claiming to be your bodyguard?
No. I can go directly to Shipley. If the two of you want to investigate one of the other leads that we have, that's also totally all right.
Yeah, because we still have that hound killer beast in Derwent Valley, but I think it's pretty far away, so we'd be very disparate, so I don't necessarily want to do that. And also, I have invites. I didn't even tell you about how my day went. I managed to finagle my way into an invite into the Pennyhue Foundation, one of their other gatherings. Keeper, when is the next gathering? It's supposed to be a couple nights from now, isn't it?
Yeah, so not today, but the following day. So you've got some time to do other things.
I will see if there's a copy of the train tables nearby and see if we can figure out how long to take a train to Derwent Valley and back would be from London.
I'm not going to ask you to roll for that. You can find a train timetable. You can get to Derbyshire, and it'll probably take you about an hour and a half when you consider the train and probably a taxi to get exactly to your desired location. So, if you wanted to take a trip out of the city, you could at least launch a preliminary investigation that takes most of a day and then come on back, or you could stay out there, of course, overnight while Felix handles things in London if you feel like the party is best off split.
So Madeline, do you want to maybe head out of town for a bit? Keep your mind off this for a bit?
I can. Sure, I can. I can also look into here locally what these Egyptian murders are. And I'm gonna siphon through the hanging sack and pull out that Scoop article. It references these Egyptian murders, but it doesn't actually say what those are. So I can do something low impact here locally, or I can head out to Derwent Valley. I don't actually want to meet with Shipley.
No, I'll take care of Shipley.
Okay, well, before we do that, that means what we're saying, we're agreeing to is that we're going to operate on our own again. And if something bad happens to one of us, on some level, we have to be able to deal with that grief. Are we okay with that? Or are we... I mean, you can't be okay with something horrible happening to someone you care about, obviously. But I'm saying it's like, we now know what the stakes are, what could happen. And we're voluntarily maybe saying we're going to split up again.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're saying.
Splitting up wasn't the problem.
To be honest, it's kind of a problem for me. I mean, I'm trying to be dismissive. I mean, like, I get nervous when y'all take off and I don't hear from you for a while. I feel like a mother wondering when the kids are going to get home, right? So it's for me more than anything else. I worry about y'all. And all of you can hear, you've known Shelby for so long, hearing the y'all creep in, you're starting to hear the accent come in, you can tell that he's genuinely being a little upset.
I hear you. And I worry for you too. But perhaps this way, we can sort out all this business here in London and then move on.
Okay, how about this? At 5 o'clock tonight, we're all going to make an effort to try to call Rupert, let him know we're okay.
All right.
How about that?
That sounds good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking to Rupert again. It's been a while.
Okay. Sound good to you, Madeline?
Yeah, that's fine. I would also recommend, if we're looking at using Rupert as our Grand Central Station, that if we follow a lead and it's going to lead us to another location, we just call in to Rupert and at least let him know where our next intended destination is going to be when we can. So at least someone has the last point of where we were going.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Now, I'm going to give the group one assist here. You have Jackson Elias as a friendly NPC who will travel. He would prefer to not be working in central London, but will do so if one of you requires it.
To be fair, I was kind of thinking taking him out of town with me to go on to maybe a good idea.
Yeah, he can travel up to Derbyshire instead if you prefer. But yes, if anyone has any particularly strong feelings about where Jackson should be deployed, he can go where you choose. Feel free to discuss it in character.
So make sure plan is that Felix is going to go talk to Shipley. Madeline, you're going to try to do some legwork and try to get some context for these Egyptian murders. I'm going to head to Derbyshire and look into this monster. Jackson's in town. Last we talked, I think he said he didn't want to be around central London. But Madeline, I could see Jackson being useful to either of our efforts. Would you rather have him help you out, or do you mind if I take him with me up?
There's an open look of shame and almost fear that flashes across my face, and I almost answered too quickly. You should take him with you. It may be good for him to get out of the city for a bit.
Internally, I process that. I am wondering if there's another reason why you want him out of town, but I will shrug it off and kind of smile and go, okay, I need to give him my letter anyway and get him caught up in everything, so I'll spend the train ride telling him of what's going on.
Okay. And we'll stay in touch with Rupert.
Yeah.
Very well then. Our characters bid their goodbyes. The party is completely split in 3. While Jackson Elias will be accompanying Shelby to Derbyshire, our other 2 characters, Felix and Madeline are on their own. What will happen? Well, let us start with the initial lead. Let us start with Shipley's house. Felix, you leave the hotel and make your way to West London. Holbein Mews and the home of Shipley, it sits in a terraced row of houses. It's a 2-story brick building. It needs some repairs, all told. It isn't the finest building you've seen in London. Least of all in West London. Every window of Shipley's home is barred and tightly curtained at that. You can't see anything from the street. Are you doing the perimeter, as in walking up one street and then walking down the other, just to make sure that to check any entrances or exits, or is your intention to essentially play this straight, go straight up to the front door, see what you can find out?
I will do a check around the building just once to be on the safe side. The way that me and Mr. Crowley parted, well, there is that worry that they might want to do harm upon me for what happened there. So I just want to make sure I'm not walking into a trap. I figure Shipley's home is probably safe because not even Mr. Crowley was able to convince him to compromise on what he's comfortable with. So he's probably just in his home, but there might be someone around the house. So I'll just check that first, make sure that there's no people with big sticks waiting for me.
Funnily enough, iron bars and drawn curtains are a very good feature for making one's house look like a fortress. Much like every other house on this terrace, he has a tall brick wall at the rear of the property, cutting the back garden off from the street behind. But those additional features do add to reinforcement. Plus, large trees have been planted in the back garden to undoubtedly obscure the view from any neighbouring neighbours who may wish to overlook the garden. There is a rear gate. It is accessible via a lane that you can walk into as a pedestrian. It runs along the backs of the properties. But again, nothing can be seen from within the house. The curtains are drawn, even though it is late morning by this point.
Yeah, then it is as I expected. But I don't see any traces of, anyone waiting for me, right?
Well, I need you to make 2 rolls there, please, Maciej. First, I need you to make a stealth roll.
That was a 60 over 44. I'm gonna chance it, and I'm gonna re-roll this one using 1 point of luck. 43 under 44.
Whoa, very nice. For once the great old ones smile. And next, I would like to ask for a spot hidden roll.
Spot hidden. That's a 51 over 48. I'll pay 3 luck, and I'll get that one too.
I wish I could say that this roll grants you sight into another dimension, or sight of all the bodyguards lurking around this property, or something of that ilk. As it is, all this tells you is no, there is nobody lurking at the perimeter. There is nobody watching you that you can see, though you do notice a curtain on the upstairs floor twitch. It doesn't appear there's anyone standing by to club you over the head, and there's certainly no sign of Alistair Crowley nearby. Final thing I need for you to do, Maciej, and there is one last die roll, but this time it's just a 1d6. I can't tell you what the results are, other than to say it determines certain placements within the house.
That's a 4.
Thank you very much. So, what's your next course of action?
Well, convinced that there's no direct threats waiting for me, I suppose the thing that would make the most amount of sense here is just to play this as is expected. If I am who I said that I was, then the logical thing that I would do next is I would go and knock the door and ask for Mr. Shipley. saying that Mr. Crowley had arranged for a meeting between us. That's what's expected. So that's what I'll do.
Very well. So you're approaching the front door?
Yes.
Unlike the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, there is no doorbell. You just have to knock on this one.
I'll knock. And given that I have a feeling that he probably doesn't really respond to people knocking, I'll add the information about who I am as well. Mr. Shipley, my name is Felix Bauer. Mr. Crowley arranged for a meeting between us. I'm very interested in your art.
Make a luck roll. In fact, hold it. You need to make a group luck roll. According to the book, despite the fact there's only one of you here, we're going to play by the rules for once. Who has the lowest luck?
I'm at 51.
I would like you guys to know that I am up to 31 luck now, please, and thank you.
Alas, I am at 46 and therefore not the lowest luck.
In that case, you need to roll underneath Bridgett's 31, I think it was.
That's an 84.
Well, you can't spend luck on a luck roll. That's absolutely fine. The door opens. There's an old lady staring up at you. She's small. You'd put her just under 5 feet. She has her knitting in one hand. A shaking hand is holding the door. She looks up at you, peers through thick spectacles.
There's no need to shout, dear. They'll hear you all the way up the street.
I'm very sorry about that. Yes, I was just worried that he might not hear. Yes, I'm here to see Mr. Shipley. I'm very interested in his art, and Mr. Crowley arranged for a meeting between us.
She licks her lips.
Oh, that unpleasant Mr. Crowley figure.
Well, he does make an impression, doesn't he?
Well, money spends. I suppose you're an art enthusiast.
Yes.
Come in. Look, it's going to rain.
Oh, of course, yes. And I'll make my way inside then, having been invited.
She closes the door behind you and locks it. It's just a chain that is pulled across at first, and then she pulls a key from the front of her apron and places it in the lock and turns it.
Can't be too careful, you know. There's all kinds of people when they find out about my son's work. There's been break-ins.
Oh, you don't say.
Even during the day,
She says, waving the key at you and then placing it back in her apron pocket.
People even they're trying to steal the art then? Is that what it's about, or are they looking for something else?
Oh, yes. My son makes fantastic pieces.
He certainly does. They're life-altering. Do you do any art yourself?
No, my hands, see?
She shows you her shaking left hand. Her right hand clutches onto her knitting basket.
Well, I'm sad to hear that. I'm sure you would. I'm sure it. Yeah.
The entire house stinks of cloying body odor. Make a natural world roll, or a hard no roll.
Natural world. I got 19. So let's try and do that then. I'll try to roll under 19. That's a 74.
Would you like to spend any luck?
No, thank you.
In that case, the entire house does indeed stink of cloying body odor.
Well, you should, follow me, then, if you're here to see my son's work. I'll take you to him.
Thank you, that's very kind. Yes, I have been so looking forward to meeting your son and to studying his art further. It's... No one else does anything like this, you know? It's unique.
She shakes her head and sucks her lower lip.
And I'll follow.
Son? Boy? There's a man here to see you. Says he's here from That was Aleister Crowley, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, I...
From that vile Crowley figure. I think I've, I was taking you upstairs, and I think I remember he was downstairs. But don't worry, he must be having one of his naps. Let me take you up to the attic, because that's where he keeps all his art, and you can look at his paintings there.
Certainly, yes. That would be great.
Good. Excellent, yes. Yes, please follow me. Follow me upstairs.
And I'll do just that then. I have a bad feeling about all this, but...
How bad a feeling? Are you doing anything about that bad feeling?
I do touch my gun to make sure that it's there, and that I know I have bullets in it this time. It's not empty. I'm ready to go if I have to. But this is just shut-ins. This is just people becoming weird from not socializing. This isn't like the other thing. It's just he's seen things clearly, but this house, this is just a shut-ins house. It's nothing more than that. It is unnerving, though.
She pulls another key out from her apron.
The attic,
She says, gesturing at the key, and puts it in a door on the upper floor, which, as she twists it, reveals a staircase. The smell that blasts you is, well, unclean. This entire house is cluttered and smelly. There's no way of getting around that. The magenta and ivory-coloured wallpaper is fading through age. Dust is gathering in corners. Spiderwebs clinging to the architraves. It's not a very pleasant place to live, is the shorthand for everything here.
Come on, follow me. Follow me. Just up here.
Yeah, and I nod and I follow after. So, it's just the two of you, huh? No, the father is he working or he passed or?
Yes, he passed.
Oh, well, I'm very sad to hear that.
Well, here we are,
She says, climbing to the top step. She does a sort of semi-gesture. The paintings stood around on easels. They are all of them hard to look at. Dangling kerosene lamps light this bare room, its sloping ceilings. There is a skylight, though it's painted black. There's canvases about the place bearing a few pencil sketches that seem to lean toward new work, but it's the easels with the finished pieces that really draw your eye.
I can't tell you the names of them. I would have to get Miles for that. But feel free to examine them and see if you're interested. Each one of them is £300.
Well, that is certainly worth paying for art of this caliber.
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, so yes, let me have a look and see and well, marvel at these wonders, and perhaps later if I can see Mr. Shipley, that would really make my day.
I'll go and see if I can wake him.
I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
She shuffles back down the stairs, leaving you in the attic with the paintings. You hear her creaking step by step before finally reaching the door at the bottom of the staircase, opening it, closing it again, locking it. Now you're locked in an attic. Still, you've got these paintings to examine. Best not waste the opportunity.
So that's what I will do. And I have a gun. I'll shoot my way out if I have to. This is fine.
The first painting you examine seems to portray an alchemist's laboratory, in which vials are pouring forth foul-looking gases. Working at a table is a reptilian humanoid who seems eagerly involved in the dissection of a creature. Due to the blood and lack of recognisable features, it is impossible to determine the identity of the creature being cut apart. but it is nauseating to behold it. As with the work that you saw in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn's house, you sense a pornographic reality, a certain viscerality to this whole thing. Can I ask you to make a sanity roll, please?
14 under 63.
Okay, you only lose 1 sanity. You're nauseated, but otherwise not deterred. You moving on to the next one?
Yes. I'm trying to understand what is this portraying really, and is there something here we can use? Is it giving us any clues about where these threats might actually lie in the real world, and how is all of this connected with the Penhew Foundation and all these other things we're looking into? I'm trying to connect the dots in my head as I'm looking at these paintings.
The next painting portrays a processional scene from ancient Egypt, in which a golden chariot passes through a mass of people who have fallen to their knees in reverence. Atop the chariot is a pharaoh dressed in black and gold robes, whose face is turned away from the viewer. Behind the figure, 2 men have been impaled on stakes, eviscerated. Their internal organs hang down to the ground and are being eaten by a pair of jackals. Make a sanity roll. Yes, you can taste the blood in this one.
It's a 23 under 62, so still alright.
Roll 1d4 then, that's how much sanity you lose.
That is a 2.
Still not... You're still shaken but not stirred, it could be said.
Yes, so I will continue looking then. I'm growing more and more uncomfortable with this whole situation, but this is why I came here after all, to learn more about this art. So that's what I'm gonna try and do.
Third one. This one actually has a label. It's been named Goatwood. Nighttime in a woodland scene, a yellow moon casts sickly rays through dark branches upon a group of naked men and women who cavort around a bonfire. Rising from the flames is the image of a goat-headed man whose outstretched arms seem to be conducting the crazed antics of the witches. In this one, it's not blood you can smell, it's sex. It is a certain masturbatory funk that just exudes from this canvas. Fills your nostrils. Sanity roll, please.
That's a 59 under 60.
Yeah. Roll 1d4 again.
D4 comes here. A 4.
Okay, now you are finding your teeth chattering. It's not a comedic thing. It is a sudden, compulsive, uncontrollable coolness strikes you right in your heart. You are cold, you are shaking, your hairs are on end, your teeth. You have to clamp them together to carry on. Do you want to carry on?
How many more paintings are there?
There's only 2 more. You glance across. There are 2 more that have been unveiled. There are more sketches and maybe finished work that have blankets over them. Sheets, I should say. Sheets over them. But of the ones unveiled, only 2 remain.
I can do this. I got through that basement. I fought Louis the Mendoza. I'm strong enough for this. I'll have a look at the next one.
The unsettling and stomach-churning scene of a man being cut open with a silver dagger, held in the hand of a black-robed figure. An act of ritual blood sacrifice. Upon the victim's chest has been carved an occult-looking sigil which seems to twist and move when viewed. This one, there is no odour. It is more like a sudden bout of labyrinthitis. Your mind swirls and you find it difficult to balance and keep your footing. Make a sanity roll.
That's a 92.
Roll 1d10.
That's an 8.
Again, uncontrollable, instinctive now. Your fingernails have pressed so hard into your palms that they are drawing blood. Only 1 painting left.
I can't stop now.
You can feel a twitch coming on your right eyeball.
I will look at it. I have to.
This one doesn't have a label, a plaque, or formal title. It is actually scrawled across the bottom of the painting. This is arguably the crudest of Shipley's works, and yet in some ways the most passionate. A towering mountain, possibly in Africa, based on the earthy red tones, over which rises a monstrous demonic creature, its head a great tentacle swathed in blood. Near a temple-like building, tiny human figures lift their hands imploringly skyward in supplication to the hellish godlike entity. From each of the humans' heads a red tongue or tentacle dangles. Looking closely, these appear to be ceremonial headpieces. Can I ask for a sanity roll?
That is a 44 under 48.
You only lose 1d4.
1.
Well, congratulations. Your sanity has been reduced by about a quarter since we started this endeavour. But eyeing this painting now, you don't need too much convincing. This is a depiction of the cult of the bloody tongue. This is you've heard the word before, you've heard the name before, Nyarlathotep, and you know that this great tentacled creature that dominates the horizon, that overwhelms a mountain, is Nyarlathotep. And these people worshipping it, these people are prepared to give themselves to it, body and soul. And you know, looking at this painting, that Nyarlathotep will welcome them with joy, but not before using them for its purposes. They have parts to play. They have deeds that must be completed to stop people like you, to stop people like Jackson Elias. And as your eyes are narrowed and you're examining this painting, it feels like the godly being completely ignores you. But the heads of each of the supplicants, in their bizarre masks, seem to turn just slightly, each one of them, to behold you, to look at you, Felix Bauer, and know you. To know you and know exactly who you are and where you are, who you love and who you care for, what your vulnerabilities are, where to strike at you to hurt you most and make you most useful to the cult. And it is at that point that you hear the door at the bottom of the staircase unlock, and a pair of heavy footsteps start and advance toward you.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play Masks of Nyarlathotep for Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Joining us as our keeper is none other than our dear friend Matthew Dawkins, and we were also joined by Bridgett Jeffries and Eddy Webb. The music was made by Aegersonus and Halgrath, and we've also used Cryochamber's Lovecraftian compilation albums. All of this with the permission of Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, and Leonhardt for their generous support. You would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of the Lost, Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and Warhammer 40k Imperium Maledictum there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings, and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, I am the last. I will tell the audient void.